And just like that, we are 10 weeks into the NFL season, and a rematch is on the docket this week. It's a revenge game for Mike McCarthy as the Dallas Cowboys at 6-2, coming off of a bye week, will travel to Lambeau Field, where, of course, Mike McCarthy was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers for 13 seasons and, of course, won a Super Bowl. Welcome into Special Edition alongside Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, and Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us here from the Star in Frisco. And where else to start but now off of a bye week? How big of a matchup is this? Because Mike McCarthy returning to Lambeau, the entire country has their eyes on this one.
It is a big game for Mike McCarthy, no doubt about it. He wants to go back to the hometown and give these guys that work. If I was him, I would walk into the stadium with a cheese stick, eating a cheese stick the whole time as I walk down that tunnel, because he knows that his personnel far exceeds that of what Green Bay has.
Without a doubt, this is going to be a huge matchup, for the Cowboys in general, and definitely for McCarthy. It's going to be an emotional matchup, similar to any player going back to his old team, going back to his old stomping grounds. He's going to want to get a W whatever the cause may be. But I'm telling you this, if you think the Cowboys are going to let the foot off the gas if they get up a couple scores, you're wrong, all right? McCarthy's going to keep that foot on the gas pedal, and I'm sure every single player in that locker room is going to have his back when it comes to that.
I agree with you guys. I don't know how I feel as a coach to go back, but I know as a player how to go back. And you know what? Execution is the key. And I'm with you, Barry. Put your foot on their neck and go full force.
Yeah, you really feel like that energy is starting to grow around these parts and around the building because everyone is locked in. It's not just Mike McCarthy, but it is an emotional week like Barry just alluded to. Let's hear in his own words what Mike McCarthy and what it means to him to go back up to Lambeau.
I think it's just like anything in this league. You have to get ready to go win. And, that's really where my mind is as far as the game. I mean, obviously, I have great memories about Green Bay, and obviously spent a lot of time there. But I'm 4 years removed from working there, and I'm really looking forward to taking our team up there. And
McCarthy said during that press conference that one of the things he missed the most about Green Bay was the community, was the people that were there. Of course, his wife's from there. His family was born up there. I mean, he's got plenty of ties back to that spot, but this comes down to football. How big of an impact could it be on this football team going into this matchup?
I think anytime that you're going to play in an environment like this, playing for your coach, you're going to have to make sure that you have his back. He's had your back over this year, making sure that you go through that time when Dak Prescott wasn't there. You're going to make sure that he has a great experience as he goes back to Green Bay. Yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, the players understand, what happened with Mike McCarthy up there, and they kind of ended on bad terms. So they're going to have his back 100% going back up to Green Bay, and they're going to try to get a W for their coach whichever way they can do it. And I'm sure Mike McCarthy, he's going to be gracious for his players going up there and giving 100% out there. Look, hopefully they end up getting out of there with a W.
And the only way you can do that is through preparation. Make sure you get a little bit of extra film in. If you had a good bye week, make sure you get a few laps in extra if you're a big meaty guy like myself. But preparation is the key to winning this game.
13 seasons up there. Aaron Rodgers, who, of course, is still at quarterback. We'll talk about him a little bit later on. Won 2 MVPs and, of course, the Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy as the head coach. We've got plenty more on that to come, but when we come back here on Special Edition, we've got to take a look at the wide receivers. Who has to step up out of that wide receiving core? Is it CeeDee Lamb if the Cowboys are going to get this offense rolling?
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. Reliant, an NRG company. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Salvation Army. Love Beyond.
Back here on Special Edition, as the Cowboys get ready to face the Green Bay Packers in week number 10, and it is a topic of conversation both in Green Bay and in Dallas. Wide receivers have been underachieving to this point in the season. Let's focus on the Cowboys, though. CeeDee Lamb expected to be that number 1. Michael Gallup, he's, of course, coming back from injury. This will be game number 6 back off of the IR list. And then you've got, of course, Noah Brown, James Washington potentially back in the fold. The wide receiving core looks like the talent is there. The production has not. However, they've looked at some different options on the trade market, maybe free agents up to this point. Who needs to step up, and is it CeeDee Lamb, or why is it CeeDee Lamb?
All of them, Kyle. Every single one of them. And the reason being is this room has a lot of question marks. This room had a lot of unknowns. You had a CeeDee Lamb who was being forced to be a number one receiver, and that's just a responsibility of leadership, physical execution, catching the ball, all those things. You have a Michael Gallup who's coming off a knee injury. You have a Noah Brown who's expected to step up and become a number 2 or 3 receiver from a guy who was really a number 5. And then you have a James Washington who's expected to come back off an injury. All these guys have a lot that they have to overcome, and obviously it hasn't shown up on the field yet.
Yeah, you're right, Isaiah. All of them do need to step up, but I'm going to focus on CeeDee Lamb here. There's 2 things I need CeeDee Lamb to kind of step up in, and one is just consistently catching the ball. I mean, we've seen him make spectacular catches with one hand, diving catches and all that stuff, but it seems to be the routine, easy ones that he seems to drop. Like he already has it in his mind. I got this catch. Let me see where else I can go with it, instead of focusing on securing the catch. So if he can step it up in that regard, I'm fine with that. And the second thing is the body language out there. You talked about this earlier in the year, but when things start to go bad, primarily when we had Cooper Rush at quarterback, there's a bad pass or a pass broken up, the head went down, the arms were flailing up. When you're a leader of a unit, like he's a leader of that wide receiver unit, they're looking at you to be the guy to bring that energy. They're looking at you to be the guy to be that calming factor, not add to the frustrations.
Yeah, you got to find a way to kind of stay even keel through the ups and the downs, stay steady all the way through. Michael Gallup throughout his career has been steady, but this year it seems like he's kind of pitter-pattered to get off to the start. Now, he has grown in his snap count. He's gotten better as the year has gone along, but how does Michael Gallup have to play these next couple weeks to increase your confidence?
This guy's just coming off a major injury. I really can't tell you as a wide receiver coming in and out of breaks what that curtails. But, I got to give him time. I think he's maybe 3 or 4 games away from us seeing the Michael Gallup that we saw last year.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right there, Nate. I think, I would love to see him more evolved in the offense, but we haven't seen that because I don't think he fully trusts that knee yet. It's hard for him to get separation from defensive backs out there. But as the season goes on and he gets more and more comfortable with that knee situation and more explosive on the field, I feel as though he'll come back to the old Gallup we've come accustomed to seeing, and he'll help this team get W's along the way.
Now, on the other side of things, of course, Noah Brown, he did not play last week. He's still trying to work his way back from a nagging injury as well. You could get James Washington back in the fold here as well. Isaiah, if those 2 guys are back and healthy, does that help build your confidence in a depth perspective for this wide receiving core?
Absolutely. The more the merrier. The more guys that are capable of catching the rock and making plays, the better. Kellen Moore needs receivers, because when you don't have all these guys at your disposal, now all of a sudden you're looking at having all 4 tight ends active. And even though that's an option, that's not the route that you want to go.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to have to kind of stretch things out thin, because you already seem like you might be thin at that point moving forward. When we come back here on Special Edition, we take a look at the Green Bay offense. They've had some struggles at wide receiver as well, but can Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers click at the wrong time, because it's against the Cowboys?
This segment was brought to you by Salvation Army. Love Beyond. This segment is brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas.
This one for us, thinking back to the rivalry, we're not really thinking much into that. We want to get this one for our head coach, being that he was there for some years. He won a championship there, and just going out there and taking care of business for him would be that's enough motivation for us to go out there and do some tremendous things.
J-Ron Kerr spent some time with both the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions, so he knows the NFC North well. Well, the Cowboys have taken down 2 of those 4. They'll have a chance against Green Bay this week in Week 10. Here with Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Let's take a deep dive into Aaron Rodgers, the 4-time MVP winner, 100% going into the Hall of Fame when his career is over. He's got a gold jacket already reserved for him. But how has he looked this year? Because it hasn't been steady for Aaron Rodgers. What has been different?
He looks frustrated, Kyle. He looks very frustrated. I mean, he looks like a guy who lost his number 1 receiver. Look at there. All right, Devontae Adams is no longer there. He's now in Vegas. So now he's left out there with Sammy Watkins, who they picked up. Out there with Watson, Lazard. You look at all these young guys and guys that have not been around this system and this program. The thing is, Aaron Rodgers is used to just simply reacting and playing, and that's the last thing that he's able to do right now, because he's doing so much thinking, trying to get these guys on the same page as him.
Yeah, without a doubt, this guy looks extremely frustrated right now. And as a defense, defense for the Dallas Cowboys, you can't go out there and think you can just disguise your intentions and you can trick Aaron Rodgers into throwing an interception. This guy's been around the league forever. He's seen every defense out there. So to me, defensively for the Cowboys, they're going to have to get that front seven going. They're going to have to make him uncomfortable in the pocket. So far this year, every single quarterback that Dallas has gone against, they've made them feel uncomfortable, and I don't think things are going to change come Sunday.
A lot of y'all may have not seen this movie, but he looked like John Wick to me. He looks like he's beat up, he's raggedy, people have stabbed him, but you know they have not taken him out. He's the boogeyman, he's coming. You better respect this guy, man. He's looking to break free. His receivers are young and trying to get there. The boogeyman, watch out for him.
Got to watch out for him. Now, Aaron Rodgers, he's got 15 passing touchdowns and just 2 interceptions against the Cowboys. He's still very, very scary. So can Aaron Jones. He had 4 touchdowns in a single game against the Cowboys just a couple years ago. But he's got a 1-2 punch. It's both Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Barry, when you look at these guys, which one is a bigger threat to the Dallas run defense?
I think it's got to be Aaron Jones because he can hurt your defense in a multitude of ways. I mean, you look at the ground game, he's kind of that explosive, slashing type running back, similar to Tony Pollard. He has that home run ability. And then when you talk about the passing game, this guy has 32 receptions, 210 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So if I'm a linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, I've got to know where number 33 is at all times because he can hurt your defense, like I said, in a multitude of ways.
Aaron Jones is their guy, no doubt about it. He can run the ball. He can obviously be their receiving guy. He's their second leading guy in terms of touchdowns on their team. But if you allow them to get to the red zone, the last person you want to see back there is number 28, 6 foot, 245 pounds coming downhill. So keep both of these guys, your eyes peeled on them.
Unfortunately for the Packers, but fortunately for the Cowboys, Rashawn Gary won't be on the other side of the football. Talk about an imposing force. He has 6.5 sacks, but no longer available. He's put on IR, out for the rest of the season. How different is this Packers defense without him in the fold?
They're gonna have to be very, very disciplined. You know, they got Preston Smith left and Jaron Reed left, but these guys are not elite like this guy. He changes their defense. He's the big play man.
Yeah, without a doubt, this defense is going to be night and day without Gary out there because he was their pass rush. Out of the 17 sacks that the Packers had, he had 6.5 of them, like you mentioned, Cal. And he also led this team in tackles for loss. So it's going to be a huge void for the Packers to fill out there. They're going to need somebody to step it up.
Got to get after Dak Prescott, try and make him make mistakes, much how the Cowboys are going to try and do to Aaron Rodgers. Speaking of, when we come back, we take a deep dive into the film room. Isaiah Stanback takes the jacket off. We're breaking down the film of how the Cowboys can make Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable and take advantage of the mistakes.
This segment was brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas.
Welcome back into Special Edition from the Star in Frisco with Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. It is time to take a deep dive into the film and show just how the Green Bay Packers could challenge the Dallas Cowboys in Week 10 of the NFL season. Let's start off with the Packers because it hasn't necessarily looked pretty for them on offense. Throwing the football, there's been miscommunication. There's been some learning curves that have gone on, but they still have Aaron Rodgers. How can this thing get right?
Well, Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. I want everybody to understand that. But we are going to show some of the issues that he has been having in Green Bay this year. He lost one of his main weapons in Devontae Adams. He has some young guns out there that are still trying to figure things out. And there's a lot of miscommunication. Let me show you guys what's going on right here. Hold on to your seatbelts, y'all. Right here, right off the bat, these guys run a lot of RPO, which is run, pass, option. They have an option to run the ball simply right here. They also have an option to throw the ball on a slant route or a fade route. One of the things right here that is going to take place is Aaron and his miscommunication right here with his receiver, Sammy Watkins. Typically, right here, as you line up, you're going to split this defender in half. If this defender is sitting on the inside, that takes away the slant route. That means from Aaron Rodgers to Sammy Watkins, that means no. That means run the fade route. That's what Sammy Watkins should do. What happens here? Snap the ball. We're going to see. Aaron Rodgers expects him to run the fade. What does Sammy Watkins do? He runs the slant. These guys are not on the same page. Look at the frustration right here. That is frustration. The ball hasn't even hit the ground yet. He's already walking away. That is happening in Green Bay. Next play, right here, again, another miscommunication. Middle of field open versus middle of field closed. We have 2 safeties here, so as you're an inside route runner, okay, as a receiver, your job is to now cross the face of this near side safety, protect the ball, protect the quarterback so that he can deliver a nice ball right in front of you. From here, to here, and that's exactly what you would like to see as a Green Bay guy. Not so much was what happens here. So you snap the ball right here, boom, the receiver's going up. What did we just talk about? Boom, pause it right here. Middle field open versus middle field closed. Now, here goes the safety. Here goes the safety. Where is their open space? Open space is right here. Not up here, drifting here, because what happens if you drift up there? This guy dives down and makes an interception. Aaron Rodgers is expecting his receiver to protect him, but he glides up here, much like CeeDee Lamb did a couple weeks back, and all of a sudden, boom, interception. That is the miscommunication that's taking place in Green Bay. Those are just two examples of it, but that is not the only thing that's taking place. Aaron Rodgers is not delivering good balls.
So it's not all on his receivers. No. Aaron Rodgers is to blame here as well.
Absolutely, and then we're going to show you guys right here. Here are 3 plays from Aaron Rodgers that are not good balls by him, but you can't depend on him to keep playing like that.
He is Aaron Rodgers.
He's Aaron for a reason, okay? He's back-to-back MVP winner.
And 4-time MVP winner. How about that, too?
Yeah, let's not even talk about that. But these are the plays that he made last week that you can't rely on him to continue to make. You have to respect him. These are not good plays on his behalf. Again, we just talked about the run-pass option. You have the opportunity to run the ball right here, but you also have the opportunity to run what? Slant routes in here, okay? If they're dependent on the leverage. We just talked about Sammy Watkins, how he should have ran the fade. What happens here? Okay, boom, split the man in half. Where's he at? Well, this defender is sitting on the outside, which means that you have what? Inside opportunities right here because these linebackers are going to be coming downhill to defend the run. Let's go ahead and push play. What happens? Bam, right there, boom, pause it, right here. Right now, these linebackers have dived down. These linebackers are now shooting the gaps, shooting the gaps, shooting the gaps. What does it open up? It opens up a huge hole right here and behind those guys. Unfortunately, but fortunately, okay, Aaron Rodgers delivers a bad ball, whoop, right off the helmet of his linebacker, ball pops up, and obviously it turns into an interception. That's one of his 3 interceptions, but what was open? The receiver. Most times, Aaron Rodgers is going to throw a touchdown right here. Here's another opportunity right here that you guys see. Aaron Rodgers makes another bad ball. All right, let's go ahead and push play button right here. As you guys see, he's coming out. Boom, perfect play. Pause it. Perfect play call right here. We had the offensive tackle that was a legal man going on the tackle throwback. Look at all this space. He can do whatever he wants. He can deliver the ball way out here, way in there. Where does he decide to deliver it? Right here to Mr. Hutchinson. He does a great job of making a nice play, but that is a terrible ball by Aaron Rodgers. Again, great play call. Should have been a touchdown. 2nd interception against the Detroit Lions. That's not all, Kyle. There's a 3rd one.
Okay.
Right here. Perfect opportunity for him to throw a nice little dime, okay, over the top. But he misses again. Go ahead and push the play button for me. Okay, boom, here he is. Right, going right over the top of this thing, and boom, pause it right here. Right now, this receiver has done a great job of running this post route. Aaron Rodgers is supposed to deliver the ball all the way over the top. Boom, right there. But instead of doing that, where does he leave it? He leaves it short and allows for this guy to go ahead and make a play. Go ahead and throw it. As he throws the ball is short and underneath, allows for him to deflect the ball down. That should have been a touchdown again. So that's 3 plays, should have been 3 touchdowns, but because of the balls that he threw, they're incomplete or interceptions.
But is it all bad for Green Bay, or can they do some things well still?
No. Aaron is still that guy. So here goes a play of Aaron being just that. I want you guys to watch this receiver down here. He does a great job of coming in here and running a nice little corner route, and watch the dime that Aaron Rodgers throws on this young man. Push the play, coming off the play action again, boom, pause it. Right now, this receiver has done a great job of getting inside leverage, taking it up high. Now he's going to take it high, keep it away from this safety right here, who is eyeing Aaron Rodgers this entire time. But look at the bucket that Aaron Rodgers dropped his ball in. Boom, he drops this thing right in the bucket. Bow. Woo. Perfect ball. That is what we know that he's fully capable of doing. That's what he's been doing the last few years. Those 3 plays that you saw previously, don't rely on him to do that. Play your zone, play your man, make sure you're in position to make a play because he's capable of making that pass every time.
And there hasn't been a whole lot of separation for Green Bay's receivers, but you talk about a guy who can throw a guy open, that's Aaron Rodgers, so keep that in mind this week. Those are some keys to stopping Green Bay. What are other keys to win the game and get Mike McCarthy that revenge win on Sunday up at Lambeau Field?
Special edition presented by AT&T was brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
America's Game of the Week, the Packers and the Cowboys at Lambeau Field in Week 10. It doesn't get much better than that. 3:25 kickoff on Fox. What's the key for the Cowboys to get to 7-2?
Keep Green Bay under 150 yards rushing, and we have to rush for more than 150 yards.
Oh, without a doubt. My key is make sure Aaron Rodgers is uncomfortable. He may be struggling this year, but he's still that guy when it comes to quarterback. Make him uncomfortable out there.
Get our offense 32 minutes or more. Make our defense be less than 30 minutes.
Hey, so Isaiah and Nate's pretty much go hand in hand. Run the football well, control time of possession. Nate, what's your prediction for this one?
Man, this is going to be a slobber knocker because we're going against the boogeyman. I got us by 1.
Cowboys by 1. Yeah, it's a close one, right? How about that?
Yeah.
He's predicted 3 the last couple weeks, which means blowout in Nate Newton terms. This one back to by 1. For Nate Newton, Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Thanks for joining us on Special Edition. We'll see you next week.